Thank you so much for coming out here. My name is Matthew Lowinger, and I am one of the co-founders for this amazing platform. So thank you all for coming out. Really appreciate all of your support. So we started back in June, and me and my awesome co-founder, Pablo Pear from Johns Hopkins. So I'm a student at Towson University. Pablo's a student at Johns Hopkins. So we teamed up, and now we have the support of 9 schools across the state, including Dewey State, Hopkins, Loyola, Micah, Towson, University of Baltimore, University of Maryland, Baltimore, UMBC, and College Park. So 9 schools, isn't that awesome? So I just want to give a big thank you to our steering committee who has really helped push us along this way since June.
All right. Really focus on those administrative tasks in healthcare. And we have a couple other people here as well. Our CEO is here. Sean, could you raise your hand? And then Sydney, our product marketing manager, I forget where she is. Okay, she's in the back. So if you have any questions about what we do or who we are, please feel free to come up to us and talk to us. So that's a little bit about our company, a little background on me. I actually grew up here in Silver Spring, Maryland. Silver Spring, right. And I left, I moved to LA after I graduated, worked in LA, moved back to DC, did some government contract work. Asked to come move to Columbus, Ohio, and I moved like in a heartbeat because I didn't think that anything like this existed here. That was actually 2012, 2013. And while I was in Columbus, Sean, our CEO, actually co-founded Baltimore and also co-founded another company here, kept telling me about how great Baltimore was. And I was like, what are you talking about, right? Like, the only time I ever went to Baltimore as a kid was to go to the aquarium, right? And that's all I thought Baltimore was. But I came back to Beta City last month, I believe, and I was blown away. Like, everything that's going on in this area is everything that I wanted to be a part of when I was here. But I love coming back now and helping support the community that I grew up in. And just seeing what you guys are doing on a daily basis and all the leaders that have helped establish groups like this makes me really proud to be from here and know that there's this type of innovation, this level of commitment to the community that's happening. So thank you again for all your hard work. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to say hi and come talk to me. Thank you.
What do you do with an introduction like that? I feel like it's really great to be in front of everyone. I have to tell you, I'm the one who's lucky because I get to look out and see the future. And that's so exciting. So I'm with the Maryland Department of Commerce. And when you think of a state agency, you probably yawned and your eyes might glaze over a little bit, but we don't want you to think of Maryland that way. Maryland is open for business. And how many people are born and raised in Maryland in this room? That's a huge shout out. So I would say about 50% of the room. 50% of the room is coming to Maryland, has interest in Maryland, wants to start a business in Maryland, grow a business in Maryland, take your idea to market, or innovate through collaboration. So you're here because there's something special going on in the state of Maryland. In my role, I get to work with all of our education institutions, from cradle to career. And so the Maryland Department of Commerce, we want to support you. That's exactly what we do day in and day out. We want to make sure that if you have a question, it gets answered. That if you need a resource, we find the resource for you. We link you to it. That's what it's like to own, work, and live in Maryland. We want to make it fun. We want to make it easy. We want to make you successful. So again, when I look out, I'm the lucky one, because I get to see all of the faces in the room. I get to see a tremendous amount of diversity in every shape and form of that word. And what I'm excited about is what I see upstairs at the tables. I'm excited about what I see on everyone's faces. I'm excited because I bumped into so many people already that are like, hey, what are you working on? Hey, I'm working on that. Totally different schools. Maybe didn't even think about collaboration with those individuals or with that school in the past, and now it's happening. That's what this is all about. We would love to support this event on an ongoing basis. Maryland Department of Commerce wants to see more events like this happen. So think about how you can take what you learned today, the collaborations that you formed today, back to your school, back to your institution, back to your groups, your affinity groups, everyone you work with, and help it go viral. Help make this magic continue to happen. Bring your energy, bring your smiles. It's gross outside, so we're all going to be inside. We're going to have a ball. Visit us over at Maryland Department of Commerce. Table is right over there if you want to pick up. We've got a lot of great giveaways. We always do. And Senior Director Chris Schock is over in the corner. She's waving. See Chris too. Chris is my boss, so tell her I'm okay. And I did a really good job. But at the same time, have fun.
Freelance bartenders, cooks, and bakers to bring services straight to your home.
Hi, my name is Ashley Boucher and I'm CEO of Bogus Studios. Games do not reflect gamers. About 50% of gamers are women, yet they make up less than 20% of the industry and even less content is geared toward them. At Bogus Studios, we're looking to make games that not only are geared toward people who are generally overlooked by the mass market, but are also looking to combat the other issues, such as gamers being tired of sales storylines and repetitive gameplay. Through our debut game, Swirling Your Rabbit, we're looking to combine what the gamers love about both the AAA industry titles, the finesse of those, as well as the innovation of indie games. Swirling Your Rabbit is our debut game.
For me, entrepreneurship is about the distillation of that. It is inherently optimistic. It's about building new stuff. It's about fixing problems that you see. And that's a great thing to commit your life to doing. So despite all that, it's really hard. It's a roller coaster. When I walk in my office some days and I just closed a deal or gotten somebody to talk to me that I wanted to or had some sort of progress, I feel like I'm on sort of step 2, 3, or 4 or 5 of the world domination plan that I established early on. If the opposite has happened and I'm not getting that deal, I didn't get that deal, something bad happened, I'm sitting there wondering, I'll never get those 10 years back of my life that I just spent doing that thing, that entrepreneurial thing. So it's a roller coaster. But people start anyway, and for me, there are several reasons, 3 reasons, not mutually exclusive. But here's why people start companies. The first is if you see a problem and you feel like you have a solution that no one else has, you sort of feel like you have to do it. You gotta pursue it. You gotta fix that thing, do that thing that you know better than someone else.
In order to continue the development of Baltimore's innovation ecosystem, it's going to require people from the mayor's office to the students sitting in Baltimore's classrooms. And we have a really good sampling of those here tonight. I want to especially call attention to the student entrepreneurs that are here. If you guys didn't get the memo yet, every one of those tables up there is run by a student who is currently a student or they founded a company when they were a student. So despite the fact that these are people pursuing a full-time education and all of the commitments that come with universities, they're still taking the time to make a difference. And I personally think that's amazing, and since you guys are here, I hope you do as well.
I'll just talk a little bit about my experience. So I decided I worked at NSA, that's where I spent most of my career. I was an intelligence officer. I was really a nerd. I was into kind of computers and programming at a very early age. So NSA was like a perfect place for me. Built a lot of very interesting systems, but I spent a lot of time in Iraq and Afghanistan. So I decided to get out in 2007 and I was going to start a company. And I had no idea what to do, but I had a few friends who were coders and we decided to just create a little services company. And the story, and not a lot of people know the full story, but basically I joined a guy who actually became a local entrepreneur here named Guy Filippelli. He started a company called Red Owl Analytics. I've heard of that. It was downtown, and he and I he was in Baghdad and I was in Afghanistan. And I was trying to build something, and he was trying to build the exact same thing, at least that's what people told me. So I called this guy in Baghdad, and I was like, hey, I'm trying to build this system. gets all this data in, does this stuff, and he can find all these bad guys. He's like, that's what I'm trying to do. He's like, I'm going to get out and start a company, and you should join me. And I was like, that sounds cool. So that's kind of how it started. And then I had to take a polygraph, which everybody has to take polygraphs, you know, lie detector tests. And I failed like 3 times in a row. So basically I couldn't work. Like I couldn't, and then my whole company was me billing by the hour. So I was in Fed Hill. I was just sitting at the coffee shop. There's this coffee shop in Fed Hill. Oh shoot, get the name of it. Anyway, no, it wasn't Spoons. But I was sitting there, basically that's how I was. Yeah, that's it. Coba Cafe. So I would sit in Coba Cafe every day just trying to figure out what to do, and that's when I started my first company. My first company, other than the services kind of software company, it was a product company, and we built basically cellular networks for the military to put cellular on the battlefield so that soldiers could communicate with smartphones versus using walkie-talkies. So it ended up working out really well. We sold that in 2012. Greg and I started Baltimore. Started the Digital Harbor Foundation, if you've never heard of that. And we started investing in startups and just really getting this ecosystem going and completely fell in love with Baltimore. And then something crazy happened. My hometown in southeastern Ohio is having a big problem with prescription drug abuse. So they said, hey, can you come and help fight that fight? And I started looking into it, and I started looking into healthcare. And I realized healthcare was kind of like the intelligence community was before anybody shared any data. And what I said was it didn't have the internet. So I wanted to build the internet of healthcare. And I met these venture capitalists from Sequoia Capital who were moving from Sequoia to start a fund in Columbus, Ohio. And when I met them, they said, what are you up to? I was like, well, I got all this stuff going on in Baltimore I'm super excited about. And we had just kind of spun off that augmented reality company and all these other things going on. It's like, but I have this idea, it's just an idea, but I think I can build the internet of healthcare. And they were like, stop everything you're doing. You have to leave Baltimore, come to Columbus, and you need to build a $1 billion company. And I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I've never built a $1 billion company before. And I couldn't pass up on that opportunity. So I ended up doing that. But still have a special place in my heart for Baltimore. And now my company's growing. And we're 120 people, I think, now. And we're going to be 220, 320, 420, 1,000. And so now, maybe there's some opportunity to come back a little bit to Baltimore and bring it back.
Thank you all so much for coming out here and really supporting our mission. We started back in June, and this is an incredible space, an incredible venue to be here. So thank you to Spark, thank you to everybody who came out, thank you to our sponsors and donors, and we really look forward to seeing you all in the spring for our pitch competition.
So I think it's really important that events like this take place. Students can understand that if they come here, they can get educated at the finest universities, have ideas, have dreams and aspirations, and know that after their college, university experience, there's a full ecosystem here ready to support them for space, investment dollars, mentorship, customers and business ready to support them. And I think all the things are happening in the right direction to move our ecosystem in the right direction. So I'm so excited for this program. And everyone should be congratulated.